Jones on women fleeing domestic violence.
Sorry.
2364.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Jenny, for this. You're asking a very good question, because this relates to the possible impact of the benefit cap, which is in principle a good thing, on women fleeing domestic violence who are in refuges, and the awful possibility that they might be effectively being forced to pay two sets of rent, both for their home and for their refuge, as it were, and therefore coming over exceeding the threshold. This is a live issue now. We're lobbying government. Lord Freud is well aware of the position, and we're trying to ensure that there can be absolutely no question of people in refuges being affected by the cap in the way that you're worried about.
That's really good. So just to be clear, you are lobbying government on this and following through. Are you thinking about putting in pan-London commissioning? This is another area, because it's the refugees themselves are struggling at the moment to keep going, and some sort of pan-London commissioning would help them to actually keep going. And I think there was talk about it at the GLA. There was a GLA meeting in September 2010, which said that pan-London commissioning was being considered. And then I think in January and February 2011, the London Crime Reduction Board, a partnership of the GLA and the police and London councils, then discussed pan-London provision as well. Is that something you're working on?
Sorry, Jenny. Tell me what you're after.
When councils commission these facilities, i.e. refuges, it's the refuges for women I'm talking about, because there's all sorts of other commissioning for people who are trying to, not take drugs anymore and that sort of thing. Because councils are short of money, they're clumping together all sorts of aspects of care of people.
Right.
And it means that actually women's refuges that are so specialist can't they can't get the money for this, because they can't cover all these different. I'm sorry, I'm not explaining it very well. Pan-London commissioning of women's refuges is something that you have talked about in the past, and you've done good work on this in the past. This is a friendly question. So could I ask you to look at pan-London commissioning and just...
Yeah, I mean, what we've done... Thank you. And again, this is something that actually there's been... when Kit was at the MPA, we did a lot of work on this. You'll remember we began with Kit was a Deputy Mayor for Police and Crime. We expanded greatly the Rape Crisis Centre provision in London, so there was one in each quadrant. And the optimistic view of some of the figures is that people are more confident about reporting their experiences, their suffering, and going to these centres, and that's why we've seen an increase in some of the crime types. I'm very keen to support all such commissioning. What I don't think we can do is step in as the GLA and become a primary provider of such services.
It was more about encouraging the practice.
That I'm certainly keen to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. If we then move